segueing to the discourse regarding using mentally disabled as a insult. Let's watch this video.
Let's talk about the Trump campaign, because I want to play something Trump said yesterday in a speech ostensibly about Vice President Kamala Harris's visit to the border. Let's take a listen.
Kamala is mentally impaired. Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. If you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
Okay, so first of all, there are actual people out there with mental impairments, and that's insulting to them. Second of all, Vice President Kamala Harris is not mentally impaired.
No, I just think she's crazy liberal. I don't question her.
But what do you think about that rhetoric?
I just think the better course to take is to prosecute the case that her policies are destroying the country. They're crazy liberal. 400,000 people have been let loose in our country. 16,000 people convicted of being a rapist. 13,000 convicted murderers, and 400,000 of people generally convicted of crimes released on her watch. It's not going.
No, Senator Graham, you need to make sure you mention that they're all immigrants.
To get better.
So I saw that statistic. We dove into it. Our fact checker. That statistic is actually over decades. So some of those people you're talking about are people that came into the country during Trump. And second of all, some of them are in prison. A lot of them are in prison for not ICE prisons, but federal prisons for their crimes. I can tell you
this: the man who killed Laken Riley in Georgia was released by the Biden-Harris administration on parole because they had no capacity at the border to hold him. That's not a reason to parole people. I promise you, there are women have been raped and murdered. People have been hurt by illegal immigrants released into this country without detention. It is a nightmare. It is crazy. It's crazy to boycott a speech by the Prime Minister of Israel to a joint session of Congress thinking it won't embolden Iran. Well, it's crazy to withdraw from Afghanistan, hoping things will be different this time.
I like how everyone collectively ignored the fact that Trump also wanted to pull out from Afghanistan and he wouldn't have done anything differently. I'm pretty sure the plan that ended up being executed was under Trump's plan. Or sorry, the plan that was executed under Biden was Trump's plan. He was the one who signed everything that made it happen and submitted the orders to make it happen. But, okay, sure. 13 of our best soldiers, 95% of his plan. Yeah. Lunette, thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you. But okay, sure. Mm-hmm. I like how when women have been talking about how the rate of rapes in this country is unconscionable and that we need to teach people consent, every single one of these fucking rightoids was like, how dare you villainize sweet young men that have done nothing wrong and make them feel like monsters. But as soon as it's convenient, it's like, well, guys, we have to do something about these immigrants because of all this rape that's happening. It's like, incredible, amazing. Isn't it incredible?
Chat. Missed YO.
President Fudge, thank you for the 6 months.
Medicare for all, Green New Deal, crazy stuff.
Okay.
Crazy stuff. Healthcare that isn't tied to your job, it's literally never been done before anywhere. It has never happened anywhere else ever. What do you mean we pay more per capita than any other country for healthcare? What do you mean we already pay more per capita for healthcare than any other country because we don't have collective bargaining and get totally fucked over by the medical institutions? Okay. All right. Green energy. What are you, insane? We only can use fossil fuel.
I'm not saying she's crazy. I'm saying your party.
You literally called her a crazy liberal like 5 seconds ago.
Your policies are batshit crazy.
Okay, well, they're not my policies, and there's a whole lot of things you said. I'll just say she didn't boycott.
She didn't show up.
She didn't show up. But let's focus on Trump's rhetoric, because that's what I'm actually asking you about, because
the problems with the world are not Trump's rhetoric. They call him crazy. Pelosi wanted to invoke the 25th Amendment. Why don't you ever talk about that?
So Donald Trump also said this at an event on Friday.
If I lose, I'll tell you what's possible, because they cheat. That's the only way we're going to lose, because they cheat. They cheat like hell.
Okay, so in point of fact, It is anybody's. Tell me if you disagree with any of the statements I'm about to make. Okay. In point of fact, Harris could win or Trump could win.
True.
It's anybody's race.
True.
It's razor thin, and whoever wins, in all likelihood, it will not be because they cheated. It will. I mean, I haven't seen any evidence of any cheating.
Well, mail-in balloting was a problem with COVID. I hope we fix that. I certified the last election because I listened to the allegations of cheating. I thought it fell short in terms of changing the outcome. I'm more focused on today and tomorrow, and here's what I would tell President Trump. When people look at the state of play, they trust you on the economy, the border, inflation, and foreign policy by wide margins. Focus on those issues.
Focus on those and don't call.
I genuinely cannot believe 2 decades after everyone got crazy about immigration and border control, we're right back where we are, and people fell for it again. I don't even know a single person who has had some negative experience with an immigrant. The most negative experience I have had with an immigrant from Central or South America has been me going to try and get some tacos from a place that was rated 5 stars. But unfortunately, everyone that works there is Spanish, speaks Spanish. And so I can't speak to them because I'm an American who only speaks English. Well, I also speak Arabic, but you know. And I'm like pointing at the pictures, trying to get my banger food. And they're like, we got you, but in Spanish. And then I get my food and I'm like, dude, this shit is so good. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. These fucking tacos are so good. Fuck. So good. That's been my most negative experience with an immigrant. Not being able to speak to them easily because I don't speak Spanish, but wanting the food that they make. I like when they have the pictures that I can point at. Yes, it's for me. It's for it's for me, the American who doesn't know Spanish. Can I, this one? 2. This one. How much? Okay, here you go. For me. Oh, and I guess like rightoid Cubans. When I was in Florida for a bit, rightoid Cubans, but I think everyone already knows that one, okay? If you know what I'm talking about.
Kamala Harris, mentally disabled. That's your advice. One last thing. He has not agreed to do another presidential debate. Mm-hmm. Do you think that he should? For example, Kamala Harris has accepted CNN's invitation if they want to do another presidential debate. He liked the debate we did last time. He thought we were fair. He thought the rules were fair. Obviously, that was a very consequential debate. Should he do another debate? I'm
going to leave it up to him, but I'd like to see it myself because I think she's a mile wide and an inch deep. Look what's going on in the world.
A mile wide and an inch deep.
The world is literally on fire. They don't have a clue. They're paralyzed with fear when it comes to Iran. The world that Trump left us when he left office was mortgage rates below 3%, a secure border, peace agreements,
a secure border,
no war anywhere. I would like to see her explain how she's going to change things when she's been in charge for 4 years and hasn't changed anything. I'd like to know from her point of view what did happen in the Mideast. Why do you think the world's on fire? Why do you think Russia invaded Ukraine? Have you not figured?
Yes, Russia invaded Ukraine, not because of rising tensions in that area, not because of anything regarding the Donbass region that's been going on for forever, for the past decade. No. It happened because Biden took office and then Putin was like, let's invade. Let's invade to make Biden look bad. Hello.
Figured this out yet? That you're weak in the eyes of all of our enemies. And here's what I would say to Trump: if you do debate her, she is a mile wide and an inch deep, and you can prove that.
Joining us now from Arizona, where he is
Of course, you can prove it. I don't like the term Kamala is an inch deep. I don't like that term. I don't care about, I just don't like it. Okay.
For the Harris Walz ticket, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, and Governor, obviously, Senator Graham, Lindsey Graham, has some strong views on this campaign, saying that Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris, is a mile wide and an inch deep, and that she has a belief in policies that are, quote, I'm quoting here, batshit crazy. Wanted to give you an opportunity to defend the ticket.
Well, thanks, Jake. And, you know, they have nothing on their side to talk about that's good for everyday Americans, for working families. That's why they're just name calling. That is what this is all about. You heard Donald Trump talk about mental impairment yesterday. I think whenever he says things like that, he's talking about himself, but trying to project it onto others. And all I can say is that, you know, with a policy like a $6,000 child tax credit that'll help young families, $25,000 to help people who are first-time home buyers with a down payment, $50,000 tax break for people who are starting small businesses. Those are real policies that are good for Americans everywhere, and they're economic opportunity-oriented policies. Again, you hear nothing out of Donald Trump. Mostly it's about a big tax break for the wealthiest Americans when you hear the Republicans talk. I don't think that's what everyday folks are looking for when they go to the polls over the next 40 days.
So Vice President Harris is in Arizona yesterday to try to shore up an issue where she is vulnerable, at least according to polls, immigration and border security. In her speech, she doubled down on the issue of border security, said she would expand President Biden's crackdown on asylum seekers, which started earlier this year. That is quite a reversal from her position in 2019 when she was running for president, when she supported decriminalizing illegal border crossings entirely. Why do you think voters who care about this issue should believe her now when she says she's going to address this border crisis as a moderate or as a even center-right kind of position, especially when this crisis spiraled out of control on the Biden administration's watch?
Well, remember, there's been massive migration all throughout the world, people literally moving from one country to another, and that began to increase significantly over the last 4 years. So it's natural, of course, that you adapt your policies to meet the moment. And what Kamala Harris has put forward is that she would stand up for the bipartisan border security bill that Donald Trump torpedoed. Let's get some perspective here. 40 years we've tried to get some comprehensive immigration reform. It needs to be bipartisan because we haven't had a Senate that's had more than 60 members, which is the filibuster limit of either party. And the result is that we've had no bipartisan effort on immigration. We finally, under Joe Biden, got Senator Lankford and a total of 75 senators behind a border.
I genuinely, like, I can believe it, but I also can't believe that Americans are so convinced that immigration is an actual issue right now. Like, immigration is already so difficult. Immigration into the United States is already so difficult. I cannot believe that anyone is convinced that there is a serious immigration problem. Like, it's insane to me. The concept is insane. It's just insane. It's like, dude, I don't know how to tell you this. The immigrants are not the reason you can't afford rent. That's not the reason. I promise it's not.
Border security bill. And you know who torpedoed that? Donald Trump. So we got to pay attention to the fact that Kamala Harris is actually trying to solve problems.
I argue with my mom about this very topic every time she comes to my house. She's so convinced by Fox.
Donald Trump has been all about Donald Trump and his election efforts.
So that effort, the Lankford bill, et cetera, that was in the last year. I mean, this has been a crisis that started in the first year of the Biden administration. And I know just from having covered it that the White House was rather dismissive of it and thought that this was just repeating right-wing talking points, et cetera. Vice President Kamala Harris was in charge of going to the Central American countries, addressing the root causes. But she's only been to the border before yesterday. She'd only been there once. It does seem as though the administration just in the last year has realized, oh, we need to really do something about this. But what about before? What about 2021, 2022, 2023?
Well, as you know, I'm from Chicago. I'm from Illinois. We saw an influx of migrants there, and you heard me talk about that over the last 2 years. One of the big challenges, so I've been, intimately in discussions with the White House about what to do. Look, it's a challenging issue to resolve without legislation. And that's been the problem for 40 years. Republicans, Democrats not working together. So in order to do it without legislation, you've got to go negotiate with all the countries that are south of us from which those migrants are coming to make sure that there are policies in those countries that will keep them from moving north and steadily toward the border and then piling up against our border. That is a problem because the president does not have the power to shut down the border. That could have been something in the border security bill that became law, but president doesn't have that. So you can only do it with a combination of policies and working with those countries. That is not an easy thing to do. You can't just overnight announce that you're going to do it. You've got to actually get those countries to agree. So it took a couple of years, frankly, for the administration working behind the scenes to get that done while they were also trying to get bipartisan legislation, and they came this close. And again, it was Donald Trump that torpedoed it.
Oh my God, dude. Like, do you know how fucked political discourse is when you tell people, no, the border is a serious issue, immigration is a serious issue, and actually it's Trump to blame. Let's blame, and obviously what they're talking about is true that Trump did block it, but like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe that the left even embraced the notion for even a second. I can't fucking believe it, dude. Stone Corbell, thank you so much for the 21 months. This is like, the people that try and have like the trans debate or like the people that try and have the Jewish question. You don't engage with those people because the notion is so absurd and stupid. It isn't worth engaging with at all. It's just, you're crazy. People deserve basic rights. I am not engaging with an insane person. And that's what Democrats should have done, but of course they didn't. And they're like, yeah, border control is something that's important, and immigration is something we need to care about. And we're going to be bigger border freaks than they are. Okay. Okay. All right. And you want to know the solution? I'm sure you guys are very curious.
Do it.
His solution for this crime? Kept Nice, thank you for the 5/7 gift subs. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Because the liberal left won't let him do it. The liberal left wants to destroy him, and they want to destroy our country.
Let's go back.
Do it because the liberal left won't let him do it. The liberal left wants to destroy him, and they want to destroy our country. If you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day with the drugstores as an example, but they have to be taught. Now, if you had one really violent day, like a guy like Mike Kelly, put him in charge, Congressman Kelly, put him in charge for one day. Mike, would you say, he's right here, it's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately. It'll end immediately. Crooked Joe Biden, do it because the liberal left won't let him do it. The liberal left.
So, I'm sorry, the solution is to have the fucking purge? That's the solution? That's the solution, huh? Remy, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Twitch added 10 gift subs. What the fuck? So thank you for the 15. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. The Purge. We're doing the Purge now. Okay. All right. Surely that was missing context, right, guys? Let's watch the rally. Let's watch the rally because surely there's context that's missing.
Rough hour, and I mean real rough. The word will get out, and it will end immediately. End immediately. You know, it'll end immediately. Crooked Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Sad.
Huh. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Donald Trump's call for a really violent day compared to The Purge. The Purge is a film franchise in which one day every year all crimes are legal. Crystal Knocked was a series of Nazi-orchestrated mobs against Jewish people and businesses in 1938. A Republican presidential candidate has called for one really violent day to crack down on shoplifting, drawing comparisons to The Purge and Crystal Knocked in 1930s Germany. Excellent. Good stuff.